A multi-millionaire reveals he hides his wealth from his family and even rents a small apartment whenever they visit so he can keep his true riches a secret, which is mind blowing to me. So, a multimillionaire has revealed he hides his extreme wealth from his family, detailing the great lengths he goes to keep their fortune a secret. Which, by the way, if you were like having to resort to doing this whole thing, why not, I don't know, maybe just not ever really hang out with your family because you obviously don't trust your family like at all? Like, man, this is brutal. The man took to Reddit to share how he attempts to hide the amount of money he makes from his parents, even going as far as to renting a modest apartment to trick them into believing he is less wealthy than when they are visiting. Posting to the thread, "True off my chest," the unnamed man said he will never tell his family the truth about his financial status. The entrepreneur decided to keep tight lipped about his wealth after his family took advantage of him, continuously asking for money and treating their visits to him as free vacations. And at the beginning of the thread, he said, "I'm a multimillionaire, and when my family visits, I rent an apartment to pretend that's where I live." Now, again, if you're having to resort to this, stop hanging out with your family because one, they're taking advantage of you based off what we're going off here so far, but two, like there's only a few things that you could do with money, right? You can make money, you could spend money, you could save money, you can invest money, and you can enjoy money. But also, you could share money. So, there's only a few things that you could really do with money. And if you can't even be honest with how much money you got with your family, like, it's pretty sad. He said that it first began when he landed a position after graduating from college, and his mom questioned how much money he would be making. He explained that although he wasn't making a fortune for his location, in his home country it was a lot. So, his parents assumed he was rich and switched their behavior. It all started when I went to study abroad, and after graduating, I landed a job. The first thing I did after getting accepted was call my mom, which probably almost every guy would do, basically. The first thing she asked was, "How much are they paying you?" I should have known then, but I was too young. I don't blame myself. I told her my salary. Now, my salary for that country was below average. I would barely afford to live decently and save pennies, but when you convert it to my home country's currency, it's a lot. My parents automatically thought I was now rich, and their behavior changed, he explained. He revealed that when he got his first paycheck, his parents insisted he pay for everything while they visited him. He recalled, looking back at it, they didn't care much about me. They just wanted a free vacation and made me their tour guide, ATM, etc. The Reddit user then said he fell into a pattern of funding their visits, and his family even told other members that he would take care of them, which is not cool for the parents to do. Now, also another perspective to kind of like have, right? You basically have someone who is rich to the standards of his home country, right? So, to his family, he is filthy rich, right? Based off that country's standards. So, I can understand them thinking, like, okay, well, then it would probably make sense if we were to go visit him that he would take care of us because our money is basically nothing in your new country, right? So I can understand that perspective, but let's continue. They even started telling me that I should contribute and pay for my siblings' uni tuitions. Now, that's a bit iffy because where are they going to school? How much is it going to cost you? You know? So at this point, the Reddit user began to realize how toxic his family was. The multimillionaire said, I slowly started realizing how toxic these people were and that I should draw some boundaries. So I slowly stopped calling, texting. I stopped updating them about my life, etc. I decided they didn't deserve to know me. Well, that's some pretty harsh statements. So when the pandemic began, the Reddit user decided to start his own business and focus on building it. As his business boomed, he quit his job, he lied to his family, and told them he had lost his job and was financially struggling. As a result, his family immediately stopped trying to reach him. That is depressing. Fast forward today, I am so blessed and grateful to be financially at ease. To protect myself, I told my family I found a job, but it doesn't pay much and the cost of living is high. Now when they visit, they pay for their own flights and they don't go out much. LOL, he explained. And to keep up with his lie, the entrepreneur claimed he rented a small apartment to trick his family that's where he resides, despite actually living in a penthouse. We go walk around the neighborhood where I actually live, and we fantasize about what it would be like to live in one of those places. Like, see, that is depressing. Depressing, right? Because again, like, it's such a weird thing because I don't know the cultural situation because he's a different country, all that sort of stuff, right? But again, like, you with your first job was basically making okay money for your current country, but your previous country, that type of money literally made people rich in your former country, which means that your currency in the other country is practically worthless, right? So, to have your family pay for their own flights to visit you when their currency has been like slapped down to below 6 feet under is pretty messed up, in my opinion, right? Like, if you're a multimillionaire, at the very least, pay for your family's trips. If their currency has been so decimated that the income from your very first job would make you rich in that country, right? Because that's a very key thing. Like, this isn't like a situation where, like, oh, this guy's former country was like the UK, now he lives in the United States, whatever, you know, the currency exchange kind of stuff. It's not that kind of crazy. But this might be like a situation where, like, okay, he like is living in the UK, but his former country basically they were like living in mass poverty, right? Where like pretty much everyone in that country was like living in poverty, which it kind of sounds like it was. So yeah, that's pretty sad, really sad. I keep 2 suitcases packed with all my old clothes, and I keep 3 boxes with all my usual dinnerware, books, etc. And when I know they're visiting, I tell my assistant to find an apartment in X neighborhood and put my old stuff there. Like, think about it. This dude has an assistant, right? Which means he pays a wage to that assistant. But he can't bother paying for the flights for his family that want to visit him. I tell them I changed apartments and I rent furnished ones because they're cheaper. So far, they absolutely have no clue. Now, I still like my family, and I don't want to completely cut them off. I like having them around, and it's fun for me too. Nobody knows about this, and it's not like I can share this with people I know in real life. Right now, I'm writing this while sleeping on the floor of my living room in my apartment. My bedroom and couch are taken by family members. I will never tell them, and they will always know me as that poor family member struggling abroad, he revealed. So many users flocked to the comment section to praise the man and even agreed with him. Now, here's the thing, I can agree with the sentiment of maybe not potentially like sharing all of your wealth information with your family if your relationship with your family is kind of weird. But to like outright blatantly lie to them about your lifestyle seems kind of crazy. Like it'd be kind of like completely different and be like, hey, let's go to like this one place where we all hang out, kind of stuff. Oh, let's like how about like I help get you guys like a hotel or something. We all stay there, spend time together, right? You don't necessarily have to invite them to your penthouse or whatever, but you could just rent an apartment or do like an Airbnb thing, which would be super cheap, and you could store everyone there with everyone having a room for pretty cheap. And I don't know, it just seems so. It's just so much effort for what? Like that's the thing that I don't understand. It's like you're doing all of this for what? So one person commented, "In all honesty, I think I would do the same. For me personally, I wouldn't do the same thing that this individual is doing, but maybe I wouldn't be like, oh, hey, by the way, I got like 20 million in the bank account, oh, kind of thing, right? Long as you're happy, bro, congrats for making things happen on your own. You deserve it. People tend to want to be around more when it's beneficial for them," said another user. Another user said, "If I ever came into a lot of money, I know exactly the people I would start hearing from all of the sudden. I don't blame Op at all. It's a bit sad, but yeah, still smart. You don't want to cut ties, so this seems like a good option. I hope you make a family. By that, I mean friends or an actual family or whatever suits you that values you for you," wrote another person. However, other people on the social media platform suggested that he cut ties and stand up for himself. One person wrote, "Seriously, this isn't a family problem. This is a stand up for yourself and your boundaries problem. The family possibly isn't intrusive. The family may just try to take some casual, understandable liberties, and they weren't told no. The impositions just grew over time," which I could definitely understand something like that happening. Another person said, "I mean, why keep meeting up with them? They're family, so what? Who says you need to keep toxic family around? Unless you're from a culture where family is super important and you can't just cut them off, but this will get tiresome and sooner or later they'll find out and try to take advantage. But I think then you'll be forced to really cut them off. I feel like you're just prolonging the inevitable. The amount of mental gymnastics versus just saying no, commented another person." Like, I mean, think about it though. To me, it's like you're doing so much mental gymnastics, you're putting so much thought behind this whole thing, and you could just be like, hey guys, I can't pay for everything, but I could be like get like a place that we could all like hang out together where none of us have to sleep on the floor. Because I mean, this guy's already paying for rent for an apartment. He's paying wages for an assistant, and the assistant is helping him with this fiasco. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, to me, if I was a multi-millionaire, there's no way in hell I would be spending so much time being like, oh, hey family, yeah, really, I'm not doing so well, so let's just go to this apartment that I'm renting. Like, ugh, it's just so weird. In today's episode of Things That Never Happened, this person says, "I have never and will never tell family or friends how much I make. When pressed, all I say is I do alright. They don't like it, they tell me how much they make and then expect because they blurted it out that I must now tell them. Nope." Like, see, this is the thing. Unless you are okay with discussing how much money you make, don't talk about it. Right? Just be like, I'm doing okay. I'm able to live the type of lifestyle that I want. Just leave it like that. So let's see. We are not wealthy by any stretch, but the number of overseas visitors we used to get figured if they stayed with us, it was all for free. No picking up the cost of a meal out, helping to pay for gas for the car, expected to be waited on, free laundry, and the list goes on. We stopped encouraging visits as being taken as a free vacation spot became beyond reasonable and just told them if they planned on visiting, let us know and we would let them know what motels were close that they could book. It stopped really quickly. So let's see. I've got a 45-year-old sister who still expects our father to pick up the check if they go out for a meal. Dear God. She has never gotten past the parent child mindset because my dad has never pointed it out. And my sister just assumes he can afford it and wants to pay. Communicate, people. It's okay to tell family no. And see, like, I agree with that, like, sentiment, right? If you care about your family, how about be like, hey, I can't pay for your guys' flights anymore, or I can't pay for everything when you guys visit anymore, right? But you guys could just stay with me with no cost, right? But man, so no idea why people are berating him. I can completely relate to him. I know I'm no millionaire, but make good money. For a while, my friends were the ones making good money. Then I beat them in the races and started making a lot more. As we always used to talk about finances, I also shared how much money I was making and how much I had impressively managed to save. All of a sudden, they changed and now use my wealth against me. Everything from accidentally forgetting their wallet every time we went out to shaming me into lending them a few thousand every time they shopped themselves into debt. Not asking, expecting that I would say yes and would tell me I was a fortunate snob whenever I said no. I finally had to concoct a story about how I was also now heavily in debt to get them off my back. Never again will I tell anyone how much I have or make. So, this is the thing. You just did not have good people around you, period. That basically exposed the people that you were hanging out with that they are scumbags, right? Where they were expecting something just because they were friends with you that you would give them money. No, that is such BS. Let's see. My brothers are extremely wealthy. One of them has a 10 million pound yacht. I would never dream of asking them for money and even feel a little embarrassed when they offer to pay for dinner. I love them and pleased they've done so well. Hey, props to you for congratulating your bros, right? Now, here's the thing. If someone with money just wants to be generous to their family members, more to them, right? But for family members or even friends to be like, oh, it's expected that so and so would do this for us because they're rich or they're making good money is pretty messed up. Sounds like he is from a culture with large extended families and where the children take care of the elders. In many of these cultures, the parents sacrifice so much to educate their children that younger people are happy to find ways to pamper their elders who did so much for them. I wouldn't boast about this trickery. Yeah, like to me, it's just like in my mind, family is so important. So to do this to family, to just blatantly lie to them, just makes my skin crawl, right? Because it's like you're still hanging out with them. You still like to spend time with them. So you're doing all this like weird hurdles so that they don't know how much money you got, but you still want to hang out with them. That doesn't even make any sense. Let's see. Let's see. This person says, my son has his own business and he is always saying, Mom, don't go short. If you need anything, just say. I don't, but he counteracts that by always asking if I need anything. He said his only money is there to enjoy and says he has more than enough for his needs and provides for a wife and 3 children, and he calls it spreading the love. Bless him. He said you looked after me through hard times when I was young, so now it's his turn to make sure I'm okay. I've never asked or taken, but I know he would always help if I was in dire straits. Like, see, that type of son is a Chad, right? This type of son is a good dude to his mom. It's like, Mom, I got you. No matter what, I'll take care of you. That's the type of son that you should be. Like, now obviously people's like situations are always different, but like to just straight up lie to the faces of your family, to the people that raised you, is just sounds horrible to me, right? And it's not like they stole his money, right? It was basically like a situation where he just never told them like, "Hey, I can't do that." From what it sounds like. So I know a secret millionaire. Everyone thinks this person has very little money and treats them accordingly, which is comical. This person dresses in old blue jeans and t-shirts, drives an older truck, shops at thrift stores, etc. I think this person is my friend because I'm not impressed in the least with their monetary worth and ignore it. But I do deeply respect their intelligence and compassion. Secret millionaires are, indeed, among us. Let's see. I understand what this person is saying. I worked hard all my life and finally made it big. I was buying flashy exotic cars and living the life. This attracted people I didn't know nor cared for to try to come into my life. I was smart to keep them away. At the same time, my closest friends did not want to go on trips unless I paid for them. Yeah, that is horrible. They slowly started not to go out to eat with me unless I said it's on me. I don't know how I could have done it different, but it's difficult working hard all your life to become a multi-millionaire for your friends to think I owe them. Like that is just like a really sad situation. And that's why if you're in that type of situation, you need to find friends that have like similar interests that you do. Man, let's see any more. Let's see. My father bought a large home in his hometown after he sold his business and retired. He invited his childhood best friend over for coffee and pastries. About a week later, Dad received a letter in the mail asking for a gift of $30,000 because the guy, that he hadn't seen in 50 years, wanted a new car. I lost my parents very young. I wish I could fly them in for a visit. Life is all about perspective, I guess. You're right, you know? Hmm. The problem with wealth is that it attracts people who want but do not do. I have a few well off friends, and when we talk, it is about old times, history, military theory, or other things that we have common interests. However, I see others who call him or go visit him, then begins the tales of woe or hints of needing money, etc. Hmm. Hmm. Well, that's a dog. Hmm. Okay. But yeah, feel free to give your thoughts. To me, it's just sad. But again, I don't really know exactly what this person's really dealing with. But it just seems kind of odd to do all this crazy nonsense when he's still seeing them.